The GSL has continued going strong. Code S is reaching its final stages of the last Wings of Liberty tournament ever to be hosted by GOM TV. Dan, I know you've been watching it more closely than anybody. Tell us about it.
That's right, Ben. We've had some unforgettable games in the round of 16, like Marine King versus Yoda, Lucira versus Gumiho, which totaled over 3 hours of game time. But that's not even what's the best to come. It's the round of 8, and it begins right now in our GSL recap.
The round of 8.
The round of 8 had some of the old, but plenty of the new, and the biggest storyline is that every single quarterfinal match had one Kespa player versus one ESF player. The first matchup was of powerhouses. In one corner, we have Azubu Symbol, who has yet to fully realize his potential since being hyped in early 2012. The other is STX Innovation, whose play in the round of 16 earned Artos' approval as the best playing Terran in the world. It was a clash of late-game Gosus as both players put everything on the line for game number 1 on Cloud Kingdom. Symbol utilizes the popular Mass Ultra style on the map, but omits Queens from his composition for the Transfuse. As a result, Innovation trades cost efficiently and starves out the Azubu Zerg for a Game 1 victory. In games 2 and 3, Symbol manages to patch his weakness, haha, patch, by adding Queens for a killing push on Planet S and parked his Broodlords in a nice spot. He followed up with a quick Baneling counterattack against Innovation's Greeting Open on Whirlwind. This would mean that Innovation had only one strike left, and he would settle down and conduct a masterful game on Daybreak with constant dual-prong drops at the top and bottom halves of the map. Combining this with brutal assaults down the center pathway, Innovation gets the money surround that would send the game and the series to a deciding Game 5. Things would look optimistic for Innovation considering the new Terran-favored map Icarus was the last battlefield. However, Symbol would throw a mother of a curveball at Innovation with 2-base Roach Nidus aggression, punishing Innovation perfectly and calling in a reservation for the semi-final date. Innovation's GSL finish does guarantee him a spot in the next season, but you couldn't help but sympathize with the STX Terran, who fell just short of his second straight round of 4. Symbol gets his first berth in the semifinal ever. The second match of the round of 8 had much more implication than ESF versus Kespa. It was a battle between former teammates as Code S stalwart Curious faced off against SK Telecom Parting in a best of 5. Parting managed to take down one Startail Zerg in the previous round, defeating reigning champion Startail Life to take the second seed. But would he be able to overcome Curious, who looked nothing but dominant in Game 1 with textbook Turtle-style CVP on Daybreak? We focus on the key engagement in the 32nd minute where Parting managed to catch every single Corruptor, but Archons couldn't get into the Vortex, and Parting had to resort to Storm. But that's okay, right? He has a Tier 3 Protoss army.
Now, and they're dealing a lot of damage to his ground.
A lot of bungles there on those void rays. That's going to be a game changer.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. It's over. You know, Parting.
Yep, it was over. Curious Hive Tech's army easily chews up the Protoss army for a delicious Game 1 victory snack. Game 2 on Belshir Vestige would be a complete change of pace as Curious stressed the Protoss 3-base economy with mutiless multitasking and surgically dissected Parting, who was once unbeatable in PvZ. Parting, whose muted defense looked sharp in previous rounds, crumbled easily as Curious nom 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 for a 2-0 lead. Parting looked more stressed than usual and finally resorts to what we know him best for, a timing. But it wasn't Immortal Sentry, it was Stalker Sentry. Sensing the push out with Gateway only, Curious baits out force fields early and defends with Hydraless flanks. Parting had to retreat and attempted to play heavy macro, but Curious makes a huge muted transition that would ultimately force Parting to all in with his remaining Stalkers. Curious read Parting like a bad Stephanie Meyer novel and guns for the top 4. A crushed Parting would conclude day 1 and leave many Protoss players heartbroken, as the Startail player was able to prove his worth, and the SK Telecom player would gear up for the Pro League Round 4, where he's eligible to play in next season of GSL. Day 2 would begin with the least hyped match, but the most entertaining series by far, as Tasia and Soulkey would head to the second TVZ of the quarterfinals. And I hope you guys buckled your seatbelt because this series was quite a roller coaster ride. In Game 1, Tasia is able to capitalize on his spawning position by denying Soulkey's economy with constant drops and pressure. Effectively controlling his Marine tank composition, Tasia hits precise weaknesses in Soulkey's play. Game 2 was a repeat of the positional stomp, as Soulkey does manage to initiate a base race, but Tasia simply lifts and doesn't look threatened at all. He drops Manor Mules in celebration of his 2-0 lead in Tasia fashion. But we all know the true ZVT of Soulkey was yet to bust out. Now, if you're watching this recap, and you've never seen a game of StarCraft II, let me introduce to you the Baneling. Massive detonations all game long as Soulkey made Cloud Kingdom look like Cloud Blingdom, with Banes selling like hotcakes, half off, get them while they're hot, attacks at the third, attacks at the natural, killing SCVs, command centers, and... well, almost everything. Don't worry, Tasteless. There was plenty more banelings throughout the rest of the series as Soulkey blasted through Tasteless defenses on Belshir Vestige for 2 straight victories, tying the series up and sending it to one last Game 5. Soulkey would try to keep this momentum as he was able to play Mutiling Bane easily into Infestor compared to the first 2 games. Tasia, who people kind of doubted whether or not he was able to complete the series, would be able to force mistakes on Daybreak by capitalizing, such as canceling the Banelings and be able to fight for positional advantage. Forcing several mistakes, we focus on the 19.5-minute mark where 41 Banelings were committed to a massive game-defining moment.
Uh-oh, that's a lot of sea chanks and planetaries, though, Tasteless. And
Are you serious?
oh my God.
That changes everything.
It does change everything because Tasia holds his 4th base. Soulkey only had 3.5 bases, really. And Tasia was able to scissor off the Zerg from being able to save that expansion. Soulkey can never fight at full strength as Tasia runs away with the game, the series, and his 2nd ever round of 4 spot with a victory over the stunned Soulkey. Tasia, the winner of Assembly, DreamHack, and MOG, could he have a GSL title as the last Wings of Liberty game? Soulkey, it's okay, man. At least your opponent Tasia in Fantasy Pro League production. The final match of the round of 8 was nostalgic, because how appropriate would it be if MC were to end Wings of Liberty with 3 GSL titles to join NST and MVP as the top 3 winners? Roro had different plans as he used pristine battle tactics to force Protoss out of position. To give an idea of how good these Zergs are playing, let's take a huge moment in game number 1. Roro knows how Protoss feels uncomfortable with Mutas, so the army is already split, so he baits out the attack with Zerglings to force the Colossus out of position. This causes MC to be a little careless, and the Mutas are able to snipe the Colossus, which completely shuts out the possibility for a counter push by Protoss. This would open up MC for another counterattack, because no AoE means Banelings are super effective. MC barely misses a force field and gets completely unmounted by the overwhelming speed of Roro's play on Belshir Vestige as MC loses his position and consequently the game on Belshir Vestige. On Cloud Kingdom, MC mind games Roro by making 1 Colossus and pushing with Zealot Stalker Archon, but Roro easily holds with, you guessed it, an array of Spine Crawlers and Roaches, Infestors and Broodlords, the whole shebang. This resulted in a relatively uncontested 2-0 lead for the Samsung Khan Zerg, who is streaking hot in both Pro League and GSL, being the #1 production in Fantasy Pro League. At this point, Roro must have been wondering what we were all thinking. Is it supposed to be this easy? After a 5-minute quick break, though, MC collects himself and roars back with 2 consecutive victories, holding off a Hydronitis attack on Icarus and playing an immaculate reactive game on Akalon Flats, where he would go for a timing push and be able to deflect a bunch of Hydralisks. Roro tries to fight for position and tries to do a lot of counterattacks similar to game number 2, but MC was able to hold and hit an immaculate timing which would win him the game.
He gets in here before the Broodlords. Oh my God! MC with a beautiful blink up. He did it. Win this. Yeah. I just got the sickest nerd chills. MC hitting a razor-thin timing here, taking out Roro at the last
I gotta be honest,
possible
man.
moment.
I didn't think he was that
Within
The
seconds
last
of
moments were near as MC rises with confidence and sends the series to a deciding Game 5. Can he do it? But the Obama toss goes for the executive order for a quick 2-base push with the popular Phoenix Immortal Sentry attack. Roro sniffed out MC's aggression from a mile away and set the necessary preparations with spine crawls on the high ground and superior concave. Roro's strong defense earns him a semifinal berth and a successful break of the Artosis curse. MC ends this expansion of GSL with 16 GSL appearances, 3 quarterfinal finishes, and 3 finals, resulting in a pair of champions. Truly the greatest Protoss of StarCraft II Wings of Liberty. And that does it for this edition of the GSL Code S Recap.
Very nicely done, Dan. There's a look at the final bracket. It's going to be Symbol versus Curious and Tasia versus Roro. The storylines are still there. Kespa versus ESF. Roro's got to overcome 2 ESF players if he's going to say that the Kespa players are supreme. And it's going to be tough, man. Tasia looked very strong in his TVZ, and of course the two Zergs remaining on the top half of the bracket aren't so bad either.
Yes, yes, and I think one thing I really want to point out is in the past 5 GSL, Tasia has made the quarterfinals twice and the round of 4 twice. Like, that's just amazing consistency considering that he's injured per se. But I mean, this guy has been absolutely tearing it up, and I can't wait. I really want Tasia to win too because I don't want it to be ZVZ finals.
I would love it. I would love it if Tasia could actually. If it could actually do it. Guys, who do you think will be our next GSL champion?
Symbol.
What's Roro? Yeah, I think Roro too will win.
Tasia. I want
the hard choice.
I want to believe in Tasia as well, but I think Roro is the best Zerg that's remaining in the tournament. Lauren Lease, why don't you tell chat how they can contribute to the discussion?
I have my pen and paper ready for all these tally marks. Who will win GSL Code S? Symbol, Curious, Tasia, or will Roro row the boat? A, B, C, or D? Voting is now open in chat. Vote during this commercial break.
What's really funny is that Tasteless made that same exact joke, and Artosis had the same exact reaction.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back with your Roro results.